Hello, friends. In order to understand ways to overcome communication barriers, you must understand the main barriers to communication. Like when two or more people communicate, what problems they generally face, that is a barrier, that is a hurdle or the problem when two or more communicate. So, when you talk about the barriers to communication, what are the guidelines for overcoming communication barriers? There is a list of things or list of points which you need to consider while making communication effective. So you must understand the very first point is adopt an audience centered approach. Now when I talk about audience center, I mean ki you have to prepare your content or you have to prepare your communication process in a way which could be easily understood by your audience. For this you need to have particular informations about your audience, what kind of audience you are going to face, what kind of people who are going to listen to your talks, or might be when you there is a face to face interaction, again you need to focus on the facial expression and other things of your audience, because we are living in an era where communication generally takes place and there are so many things which you need to understand, like the age, education, status, and many particular relevant information about the personality of your audience so that they can understand your message completely and easily. You must understand that foster an open communication climate, it is a very necessity of today's era, like when so much of communication is taking place, we must nourish an atmosphere where people can talk directly to one another without leading to misunderstanding or without giving the meaning of their message. So it is equally important to understand when the communication flow in the organization or in the environment, people need to understand that it is a blessing, like when two ways communication can take place, it is a blessing because we can easily understand one another, we can take help while solving the decisions or while solving some problems, while taking some decisions, we can easily understand one another and we can even encourage feedback from one another in order to communicate, because most of the relations don't work when we don't have sufficient ways to communicate. So communication itself is very important both in your personal and in your professional life. Then you must understand, you must commit to ethical communication. It is very important to observe transparency while working. Like you must understand, when we make use of wrong data, deceptive tactics, it is something which always spoil the network of communication. The data, if not presented in a fair manner, it will lead to misunderstanding and miscommunication, which will always be something which will always affect our business and personal relationship. And the final point which I will be discussing today is create lean and efficient message. It is important to understand that your message must not be too lengthy. Try to speak in short and try to tell people about your points straightforward. Chit chat and jokes and other things must be avoided, especially when it is a professional communication, when you are talking in your professional life. You must understand there are so many distractions which must be avoided in terms of physical and emotional distractions. You must understand, like sometimes we have so much of physical pain, and in that, if you are going to communicate with somebody, of course it will be a barrier to your communication. And in the same way, if you are emotionally disturbed, it's better not to talk. So it is important for people to learn to create efficient messages which will always help them to communicate more nicely and to master their communication. Do subscribe me for more such videos. Thank you so much.